All right, guys, we're going to get started here. So sorry that I'm doing this only on Zoom for those of you that are in Salt Lake, which I'm not sure how many are anyway, but on this class, I typically would have done it from the training room, but they're doing a blood drive today. So I decided I would do it Zoom only. And it also happens to be my son's spring break. So I was like, well, if I'm going to do it from Zoom anyway, I'll do it from home. So anyway, we're going to jump in and get going right into this. I just so you guys know, I have muted everyone, but you can unmute yourself, or if you want to throw comments in the chat box, that works as well. So we're just going to jump right into it and get going on showing you how to set it up and how to use Zapp. So should be somewhere around an hour long is what it will take us to get through all of this. So anyway, like I said, if you have questions, feel free to unmute. I will probably, if you forget to mute yourself, hit the mute button after you're done talking or whatever. If you don't, just so there's no background noise and things. But anyway, I'm excited. Zapp is a fun system. And so just kind of to give you guys a little bit of the background on it is Zapp was created by a company that was called Zip Realty. And Realogy, which is who owns Century 21, went out and bought the Zip Realty company. But what they were purchasing it for was to get the Zapp system. Now, the Zapp system then is just the back end database of where they're keeping track of all of their people and those type of things. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of the background on it. And so I'm going to jump in and just show you some of the tools and things and how. So first off, just how to get it set up. Once we show you how to get it set up, then I'll show you one of what I feel like is the most powerful tool that it has in the system. So, all right, so here we go. This, what you're seeing right here, let me just do a couple of movements on my screen here. All right, is 21 Online. So you're going to go first to 21online.com. Once you get to 21online.com, you're going to just click on the sign in button here. Once you click on the sign in button, then there's two ways you can go about doing it. One is you can just click in the search box and type in Zapp, in which case you'll see Zapp CRM right here that comes up. Typically what I do, and that's probably the fastest way, but usually what I end up doing is if you click on these three arrows over here, or not arrows, three lines, where it says menu, and then scroll down to Productivity Hub right here. I usually click on Productivity Hub. And then from there, this gives all of the systems basically that you would use within 21 Online. They're in alphabetical order, as you can see. And so because of that, I always just scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you'll see the Zapp login. Once you click on Access Zapp, that's going to bring you then to this page right here. So it brings you to this login page. Once you're on the login page here, the dashboard, you'll see up here, I've got agent or admin, and because I'm an admin, yours won't have that. But you'll have up here requests, new leads, meetings, reminders, and updates due. And the idea of that is if you have any requests that have come in through your website, which we'll talk about and show you here in just a minute, those will show up here. If you have any new leads, so if somebody has gone in and registered on your site, then those will show up here. Any meetings you've scheduled are going to show here, and then reminders are going to show up here. And then this updates due is part of our relocation department. So people that are on the relocation team will have required updates that will show up there. So that's the dashboard. The first place we're going to go to is, so first what I'm going to show you is how to just get your website set up and working, which it's already there and working actually. It's just, I'm going to show you how to, if you want to make any other modifications to it, if you want to change some things up, which you probably will want to do some of that. So I'm going to show you how to go about and do that first. Then from there, we're going to get into, okay, how do I get my contacts into the system? And from how do I get my contacts into the system, then what do I do with them once they are? So those are kind of the three things that we're going to cover today. Is first, just how to set up your website. Second, how to get your leads in. Third, then what do I do with them once I get them in there? So if you click up here on the top right where your name or your picture is, in my case here, you'll see it's got a my website, it's got a spot for a blog, your account settings, lead notification settings, company billing and payments, which really you're not going to ever do anything with that. You'll never be charged anything through this unless you were to go over to this Zapp store over here. You could sign up potentially for other things, but really don't have to worry about that. So we're going to go to the my website, but just know that you do have a blog. We're not going to cover that today, but there is a blog in here that you could set up on your website as well. So I'm going to click my website, and again, just clicked on my name, then went to my website. What that does then is that brings up to show you what your website will look like. So this is the cover photo that's going to show up on your website. Here's where your picture is going to be. And if I want to view my website to see what it looks like, I can just click on that. That will then open that up to where you can actually see what it looks like. Let's see, Liliana's asking, would you repeat the URL to the dashboard, please? So yeah, to get to that, Liliana, you're just going to go to 21online.com. You're going to log in to 21online.com with your username and password. And then from there, there's a search box that if you type in Zapp, you'll see Zapp CRM. And if you click on it, then it'll take you to that dashboard. So hopefully that answered the question. If not, let me know. Okay, so this is what my website looks like. So here's that cover photo that I was talking to you about. You can see here's where I could search properties. It's got my picture here, my satisfaction ratings. And then right here is where the profile information is. And I'm going to show you where you're going to access all this stuff. You can see my sold homes here, the areas served that I want to work. They can follow me on social media, share my page, get the mobile app. Here's client reviews, resources. And then there's a section for experience, credentials, community involvement, properties I've toured, and then professional designations, and finally, local insights. So that's where I'm going to show you. So how do we deal with the content of that? Well, where you're going to do that then is, again, that's where you would click on your name, go click on my website. It's going to bring you to here. So the first thing I do want to point out, though, is you've got the my website URL right here. So this is for the name of, the link to get to your website. Now, a lot of times what people will want to do is they, hang on, Liliana, so just curious, there's no direct link. Nope, there used to be. It used to be you could go to new.myzapp.com, Liliana, and that would take you right to it. But they have disabled that, or at least the last time I tried, they disabled it. So you could try that again and see, but the last time I tried it, it wouldn't work.
Can't you just do the search bar and put Zapp?
Nope, that won't work.
Oh, okay.
Well, on 21 Online, yes, but not in Google, if that's what you meant.
No, and once you're in 21 Online.
Oh, yes, you can do that from 21 Online. Yeah, correct. From 21 Online, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you've got your URL link right here. And one of the things that I recommend to do is, if you look at that, it's pretty long. You probably are not going to want to go post that onto your business card. So what I usually recommend do is, if you click on copy there, you could get a copy of that. So it's now copied. I could then go over to GoDaddy or any of the domain registrars, and from there you can forward this link to your website. So, like, for instance, I went and bought russorchard.com, and after I bought that, then I forwarded that russorchard.com to this link right here. And once I did that, then now somebody could go to russorchard.com and it'll take me right to this website. So they don't have to actually go in and type in that whole long thing in order to get to my website. Okay. All right, let's see. There's another question on here. I'm not able to log in. It's showing me unable to find username. Yeah, so I'm not sure on that one. It should be your first name dot last name at century21.com is your username for 21 Online. But if you're not able to get in, then from that username page, if you will scroll to the bottom, you'll see the help desk, and you could call them and they can help you get logged in. which, by the way, this is being recorded and I will post it onto our YouTube channel, the Century 21 Everest Training YouTube channel. So you can always go back and review some of this. But yeah, should be first name dot last name at Century 21. And if not, then give that help desk a call and they can help you out. Okay, next then. So that's the website URL. And just a recommendation for me is that you usually want to forward that to some other domain name that you've gone and purchased as a website. And then also there is a mobile app as well. So one of the things you would want to do is you want to share this link to your contacts to get the people using your app on their phone. One of the agents who has been one of our best people to convert leads on this does it usually through getting the people to start using his app. Now, the app will look exactly like the Century 21 app. So if somebody was to go on their phone and go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, and they did a search for Century 21, they would find the Century 21 app. But if they download it, it's not going to be tied to you. If you have them use this link, which you can see here, it's then got my name in the link. When they click on that, it will download the app, but it ties it to you. That way, anything they do on the website is going to be tied to you. Okay. All right. So now let's get into the content section of this. So the first area here is content. And you can see under here, under the content, it's got this About Me section. And you're just going to put in whatever information you want to put in there. Now, if I click on that, you'll see it is just a text box. Unfortunately, I wish it was an HTML editor to where you could put pictures and links and all that, but unfortunately, it's just a text box. And again, just to show you, I'm going to click up here on my website again. That's going to show up in this section right here. So whatever you type in is going to show up right there. Okay. Next is there's a buy a home page. This buy a home page is going to show up. So I'm going to switch back and forth here quite a bit, guys, showing you. Here's this buy page. So if I click on that, you can see it's got a default buying a home section there. Okay. So that's just what's going to default there. If you want to use and create your own on this buy a home page, you can come in here, put in a banner. So if you want it to be different, you can put in a text on the banner and then whatever content you want to put on that page. So you can see it's actually pretty good, just what they even have in there already. But if you want to create your own and put some other things in, this is where you would do it. Now, let me explain to you on this. NAR does a survey every year of home buyers and sellers. And on that survey every year, the number one thing that people go and do a search for on the internet is homes for sale. But the number two thing that people go and search for is the process or the steps that are involved in the home buying process. So they're looking for what are the steps involved in the home buying process. So I would recommend on the buy a home page that what you put on there is here are the steps that are involved in the home buying process, because outside of people searching for homes, that's the next most common thing that people will go in and do a search for is finding out what's involved. What do I need to do? Okay. So that's the buy a home page. You can also do a sell a home page, which if I go over here and click on this sell a home page, you can see it's got some default content in there as well again. But you can change that up if you want to. You can turn it on or off if you don't want to show that page there as well. So same concept, you can go put in a banner, you can put in whatever information you want to there. And then there is also a custom page section, which you can go through and create a custom page that you would do for whatever else you want to. And so just any other custom pages you would want to create, you're just going to click new custom page. That's going to bring me into here. I can have a cover photo. Now you will notice this one is an HTML editor. So if you are wanting to create a page that you can put photos and links and videos, you can do that on this custom page right here. That's why, to me, I'm a little confused. I don't know why they won't let us do it on the home page, but they don't. So anyway, that's the custom page section here.
Question?
So yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I noticed that when I go to my website, which I did already do the forwarding, by the way. So if you go to lilwest.com, it'll go to my Zapp page. But then when you navigate from there to buy or sell, it's like you're no longer connected with my Zapp website. It still has the My Agent on top with my little picture, but there's
But no
no obvious
content.
way to go back to the main homepage except to click the back button, which is not very elegant. See,
Right.
at the top left, next to buy and sell, it says Century 21 Everest. And when they click on that, I've lost them because they're, they're back on the main Century 21 page.
Gotcha.
So I believe there should be like a home button, or back to your agent page or something, instead of the Century 21 Everest, because you've lost your clients at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, let me check on that and see, because I haven't noticed that before. So yeah, after the class, I'll jump onto mine that I've set up that way, and I'll play around with it and see if I can figure out if there's a switch or something that we have to toggle on. So cool.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So that's the content section, which again is just going to be what's going to show up here in any of the pages that you want to create. Okay. Now, the next area is this areas served. So, oh, actually, I'm sorry, I forgot one. Let me scroll down. Still part of this about me. There is a my video section that you can see. I don't have one in there, but if you want to create a video and put it in there, you can do that. You have to get it from YouTube. So you'd have to, if you wanted to have a video of you like introducing yourself, you would want to record it, get it uploaded to YouTube. Then you would take the link for that video and drop it in here and add, and then it will put it, it will put that then on your page right underneath this areas served is where, if I remember right, it'll show up over here anyway, the video. So you can add a video if you want to. Unfortunately, you can only do one, but that's where you could put one. And then tying your social media, which again, I showed you over here is this follow me section. To add those, you would just click on any of these that are grayed out. I have not set up yet. So if I wanted to set it up to my Twitter, I can just click on that. It will then log me in to go to Twitter, where I could log in to Twitter, and then it would tie it and sync it to my account at that point. Okay. All right. Next then is the areas served. So on areas served, you can name that whatever you want to. I just left mine as called areas served, but if you wanted to call it something else right there, you would just type that, click this pencil and type that in there. You can see here on cities, you can have up to 21 cities. I've got 13 out of the 21. So whatever is showing up, and there's going to be default cities that show up there. If you want to get rid of them, just hover over one and click the X, and that will get rid of it. And then, so in fact, I'll just get rid of the Centerville one. So now it's gone. Well, if I wanted to add some more cities to it, you can see it's got add new city here. And when I click on that, for whatever reason, typically you expect it to like open up a box or something, and it doesn't. And so sometimes people say it doesn't do anything when I click on it. Well, if you just start to type, then you will see that it does then start to bring it up, and I can click Centerville, and now it's put it back in there. So any of the cities that you want, and again, you can have up to 21, just start to type in the name of the city in here. And then let's see, I was trying to see one that I maybe don't have on here yet. Well, I'll just do like Lehigh here. So I can just click and add. Once they're in there, then you can decide the order that you want them to show up. And what that means is right here, you can see it's got Salt Lake, Taylorsville, Cottonwood here. And that's what it's Salt Lake County, Taylorsville, Cottonwood Heights here. Whatever order you want them to show in, I can just drag and drop. And then if I go back over to this page and refresh, then it's now changed it and put Murray here. So whatever order you want it to show up is what you're going to put them in here. Okay. All right. Next is the My Sold Homes. So to turn it on or off, you're just going to click on this button. You can name it whatever you want to call it. So the section's called My Sold Homes, but you can put whatever you want here. Now you'll notice on mine here that it's showing my recently sold homes, and then it's got, this page's worth of the homes. Now here's the key thing. If you are either a brand new agent or you're new to Century 21, then the only thing that is going to show up on this My Sold Homes is homes you have sold with Century 21. So unfortunately, it doesn't go out and grab all of the sold properties that you've ever had. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And so usually what I will recommend, so if you were like brand new to Century 21 and therefore haven't had any sold homes yet, you probably ought to just turn this off, just toggle the switch to off. And then once you get a home that you've sold, turn it back on. And then I would just say, come up here and, click on the pencil and maybe you put it as my most recent sold home or something like that. That way, when people look at it and they're seeing there's only one house, but if you say my most recent sold home, then they're going to expect, oh, there's only going to be one. Then as you get two, you could put, my two most recent, or you can just say my recently sold homes, something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
So I remember there was a talk about, maybe it was not with Zapp, but with something else that we used previously. But it would be nice to be able to, for newer agents or agents who don't do high volume, to show company sold listings.
Yeah. And on this one, I don't think there's a way to do that. So, I mean, I can pass that on to the Zapp programmers, and because I think that is a great idea, that if you could have it show that way. But right now, there's not a way to do that.
Okay, yeah, if you could, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, I still can't get into my Zapp. It just, when I get in, it just gives me something about my creativity, productivity, and all that. Relentless productivity. And then I scroll down, it says, tell us our story. But there's no way to get into what you're doing. And I was able to do that before. So I wonder if the links changed or something. I'm on 21.com, 21online.com, and I put in my information and I logged in. So I am logged in, but it's just not showing me what you're doing here.
So, but then if you type, oops, where's it at here? If you type in the search box at the top up here, it doesn't bring up.
I don't even see the search box. It just says, tell us your story, relentless productivity, get started.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to, at the bottom, you got to clip skip. There should be something at the bottom that you can skip that. It's trying to set up your 21 online.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. I guess I'll have to get with you later, because all it says is get started now.
Yeah, click on get started now, and then you'll hit skip after that, and then skip.
So every time I have to do that. Okay.
Well, until you go in and set it up, yes.
Okay, well, I did skip to the dashboard, and now it says dashboard, action paths, awards, and resources. And it shows me measure your success and all that, but I still can't get into what you're seeing there.
So you don't have this at the top?
I do have discover articles, tools, and more search bar.
Just type in Zapp right there.
I did, yeah. And it says Zapp app, sending contacts to Zapp. It's just like training.
Right. If you click the one below that says Zapp CRM, it'll take you into it.
Yes, and I did that too. And now it shows me all about Zapp CRM, but it's not.
I'll have to help you.
My website.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it with you after, because it should take you in. So.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, if you advertise other agents' listings, you're going to disclose the other agent's name anyway. I think it kind of depletes the purpose. But anyway, yeah, let's get on. So since you're recording this for the.
Yep. Okay, and then let's see. I had another question about, does it go back and grab C2 unsolds in the last year or back longer? So Ginger, I'm not 100% sure how far back it goes. I think it goes back as long as you've been with Century 21. So the solds with Century 21, I believe it will. It's my understanding anyway. Okay, next then. So that's the My Sold Home section. Next is Agent Insights. So on the Agent Insights is going to show up, that was down here, this properties I've toured. Okay, so that section is under this Agent Property Insights. And the idea of this is to keep your website looking fresh so that it's like you've got new content coming on. So the idea of this would be to once, twice a week, something like that, go in and put down some properties that you've toured. Now, the nice thing is you don't actually have to have gone really through it, meaning I could just come in here and click on add property insight right here. And then if I start to type in the address of a property here, you'll see it's brought up a number of properties. I could just come down here and click on that one. It's going to load then that property, which is land for some reason. And then from there, I could type in whatever information about that I thought. So really, you could even just go pull it up on the MLS, look at pictures. I could type in, some information about the pictures, say that it's, these are tags that you can create for it that you can click on, and then you would just hit publish. Okay. So let me go back here. I'm gonna have to refresh to get rid of those blue dots, I think. Okay. So back to the agent insights. So on those, it's going to then put that, sorry, let me go, I know I'm bouncing back and forth a lot, but I'm gonna go back to the website, and you can see, so it'll put like a picture of the property, has the address, when I toured it, and this is why I would say you wanna do it a couple times a week, because this one's showing a week ago, and this one's showing 3 months ago, this one's 7 months ago, and it's off the market now. But all those tags that I had clicked on will all show up right here as well. Okay. So, and again, the idea of that's just so that it looks like you're adding new content to your website is what you want to do. Next then is local insights. So here's what I recommend that you do. So we had 8 areas served here. So I'm just going to click on that to go back up to the areas served. Here's the cities that I put in. If I go back to agent insights, under local insights, I would recommend that you go and do add local insights and type in some insights about each of those cities. So, sorry, did someone have a question there? Maybe? Nope, guess not. Okay. So I would go just create.
Well, Russ, I just wanted to say that you can go to the city websites. You can actually get the logo to the city or the county, and you can actually grab a lot of those insights.
Yeah, you can get information to put on there from the cities. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So anyway, that's where you would want to create those. Again, going back to the website, that's at the very bottom, and it just has information in there about those.
Hey, Russ.
Yes.
Can you add videos to that local insight section? Like my title company guy does videos of what's new in Southern Utah kind of stuff. And I think they're entertaining. Is that something that you could add to there?
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't on this one. I wish you could. I keep hoping that they're going to add that functionality to it. But so for instance, right now, let me just kind of show you real quick on here. So I just clicked on add local insight, and then you can do it by a city, neighborhood, subdivision, or a zip code. So I'll just throw in a zip code there. So now it's created it, but then unfortunately, these are only, text boxes that you can put. And so like, it frustrates me that you can't do that. So what you'd want to do, Brielle, if you really wanted to add some video stuff, that's where what I was saying before about up in the content section, you'd have to almost go create a custom page so that then up at the top of your website up here, you could have like the names of a few of the cities or neighborhoods listed right there. And then if they clicked on it, could go to the custom page where they could watch a video.
Okay, can you name those whatever you want then on the custom page?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how I would recommend that you do that one, is that you would go in and just name it that page, whatever the city is or whatever, then it would show up.
Oh, so. Russ, I'm doing that presently, and the problem is then they're off your page, and I don't know. I'm trying to get my web designer to know how to keep them in my page, but they go to that page and they're gone, so.
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that you have them click on a link to go to the city page. Instead, typically you can embed a video into yours so that way they're not leaving. But the problem with that is it would have to be a YouTube video, and then you would share it as an embed to do it that way. So yeah, that is the challenge though. All right, next, so the SEO playbook. So here's the idea of this. I'm not actually going to spend a lot of time on this, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. And that is that the idea of this SEO playbook is here's how you can get people to find your website organically. But the challenge that I have found is, unless somebody knows way more than I do, it's hard to create your Zapp website to compete with a Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com. I mean, to just show up organically is going to be almost impossible. So, but what this is showing is here, if you want to have yours be more searchable, these are the things you can do. So we already talked about this first one. If you have a domain name, have it forward to your Zapp website, which we already talked about. It's got link building, which the way that you make your site show up organically is you got to have a lot of links and get content and stuff on there. So this gives you some ideas, and you can always click on the learn more to show you how to do any of these things. And it's just a checklist. So like, for instance, if I had set up the Twitter one, I would then go click that to check it that I've done it. Okay. And then the content, you know, says write information rich local insights weeklies for cities and neighborhoods, write property insights about homes you've toured a few times a week, and then periodically ask your contacts to give you ratings. We'll come back to that one. And when we get to the context section, I'll talk about that. But that's the SEO playbook section. Next then is resources. And this is where what's going to show up here. Here's how I would do this if I were you, is the way I would recommend that you use the resources section is create this as kind of your concierge area, meaning find the people who you typically would recommend. So for, in this case, plumbing or electrical or a landscaper, or for you guys in California, a pool guy, whatever it is, you know, you can create those here under this resource section. And you would just go in and put in the name of the company or whatever it is, put a link to their website on here, which again, this ties back to what Rebecca was saying. The downside is if somebody clicks on it, now they're off your website. But typically this is going to be used more by your contacts that you have in the system anyway. So it's probably okay if that happens. But if you had, for instance, you wanted to put in an electrician here, you would put in their website. I'm going to click on this to drop down. And then you'll notice it doesn't have an electrician in here. But if I click other, I could then type it in here. Looks like I've done that before. And then add to the navigation and then save it. And then after I've done that, it then will show up and give me that option in the drop down here. So like plumber didn't exist on this until I had gone and put it in that way. Okay. So that's what I would recommend that you use this resources section for, is going to be to create kind of a concierge of here's who I recommend for different services, and you can create and put as many as you want into that. Okay. All right. Next then is the reviews section. And really what you want to do is just have display all reviews received. You've got two different options. I would say check the box that is display all reviews received, because that's going to then tie in all of your real satisfied reviews as well to the system. Okay. And then down at the bottom here, the final thing is this professional info. This is where you can go in and add new, to type in things about your experience, your credentials and membership, any community involvement that you want to. You can see I just put gibberish in there, and that all then shows up right here. And here's that gibberish that I put in there. Okay. So if you're wanting to add, you know, stuff about your experience, your credentials, community involvement, put those things in there. And so that's essentially how you're going to get your website set up. The last section here is how to track stuff. And I'm not really going to cover that because I don't even know enough about it. But if you're aware of Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel, this is where you could tie that together. So the idea of those is just for you to track kind of where people are coming from and stuff like that. But it's over my head, that part of it. So, all right, next then. So how do we get people into there now? So now we have the website created so that it's going to look like this, which, by the way, yours still has a website. Even if you've done nothing with it, it's still going to have the default areas served. It's just going to be pretty blank the rest of the page. So that's where you want to go get those things set up. So, but now we're going to go into, all right, how do I get people in? There's essentially 2/3 or 4 ways, depending on how you want to go about doing it, that you can get people in. So that's what I'm going to show you next. The first is if you click add and go to new contact, you'll see I can add an individual contact. So if I just click on that, I can come in and put a first name, last name, email address, phone number. I can add their address in here. If I want to put lead information, their birthday, anniversary, notes, professional information, social profile, all of that kind of stuff. So that's one way I can do it, is I can just go in and do add new individual, and bam, I type it in and add them one at a time. The second way you can do it is through import contacts. And so the reason that I say there's 2/3/4 ways, one is do it individually. The second area, which there's subcategories to it, is you can just upload a CSV file. So there's a sample one here you could download and put your contacts into, and then you would upload it here, and that would bring your contacts in. The other option is if you have your contacts in Google, you can import them from here. If you just click on that, it's going to open up a page for you to log into your Google. And once you're logged in, you could import them in that way. The other way that you can do it is through your cell phone. So I'm going to stop the screen share for a second here so you can see me a little better. On your cell phone, if you go to either the Google Play Store or the App Store on your iPhones, and you were to do a search for Zapp. So let me find the App Store here. If you do a search for Zapp, it's going to bring up an app that will look like this right here. So it's kind of a turquoise. Oh, I don't know why that's, I guess maybe too close. There we go. Right there. That turquoise-ish, sorry, I don't know why it keeps going blurry, but you can get that app downloaded. Once you have downloaded that app, then what you're going to do, the problem is I can't really show you very well because it keeps going blurry for you guys. But once you get that, what you would do is you'll log into it using your 21 Online login. So it'll give you a spot to log in. Ugh, I don't know why. Come on. There you go. It'll look like that. You can log in. Once you have logged in to it, so let me get logged in here. Oh, oops, I forgot it made me change my password today. All right, once you're logged in, then what's going to happen is on an iPhone, up in the top left here, there's a plus sign. That if you hit that plus sign, then you can import contacts, which again, dang it, I don't know why it won't. Oh, you know what? I think I do know why. Let me try this real quick. I think I have it set to like blur the background, and so I think that's why it's doing that. All right, there we go. So now you can see right there, it's got import contacts. So if I click on that import contacts, the very first time you do it, it's going to ask for permission to your contacts. But once you give permission, then you can just go through and you'll see the little circle there. I could go through and select any of the contacts that I want to add. So it's not an all or nothing. You just go select the ones you want to add in. And then up at the top here, it says import, and I would hit import and it's going to import them. If you're on a Droid, then in the first step you're going to have to do is you'll see down at the bottom there, it says contacts. What you're going to do is click on where it says contacts, and then on the Droid, you'll have a plus sign. I think it's in the bottom right that you'll click on, and then the same process to add your contacts. Okay, so that's how you're going to get your contacts added into the system.
So if you have already downloaded everything and then you have a lot of changes, say on your phone, you have to put those in individually, or if you download them, will it cancel duplicates?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Meaning if you already have that person
files and you download a file, usually on a computer, and you re-download it,
it'll ask you if you want to skip or
it'll go through every file that's, it'll not duplicate files that are
Gotcha.
already downloaded. But on Zapp, I'm not so sure it's that sophisticated.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find one real quick that I know is in there. And I'll try it and see what happens.
Because I have a lot of updates on my phone.
So yeah, on this one, I just tried to put one in that's already there and it failed because it says he's already one of my contacts.
Oh,
So
well,
it looks like it will.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, so that's how we're going to get the people input into the system. So you're either going to do it one at a time, you're going to do a CSV file, or go on your phone and just import them that way, which typically that's the way that I would recommend, is doing it through your cell phone. But anyway, those are the different ways. All right, so now let's go into, and I'm going to show you some of the cool features with this. So first off, from my contacts, so I just clicked on the left-hand side here, clicked on contacts, and it's brought up 129 contacts that I have, which what you will notice here is, so on Darren here, he's showing as very high. Jay is showing as very high, and then the rest are just showing as none. But what the system does is it's going to compare, and if it's sorted by Zapp score, it's showing you of all of your contacts, which ones are the most likely to be doing something real estate related. And so you'll notice it's not sorted in alphabetical order, even though this one kind of looks like it is, these first three. It's not, it's sorted based on this Zapp score. And if I hover over Darren here, you'll see that he logged onto my website 2 times last week and viewed 1 home details page last week. If I go down to Jay and hover over it, it shows logged into my website 3 times 3 weeks ago and 2 home detail pages 3 weeks ago. So what it's going to do is keep track, and then it floats them to the top. So think of it as it just brings all the cream to the top of your contacts so that you know, hey, here is who is most active on your site. Okay. Now, let me show you how it's doing that, or why it's doing that, because this is the cool thing about it. Now, both Darren and Jay, I have put into the system just in a class like this. I just had gone through and imported somebody off my phone, put them in here, and did what I'm going to show you guys to do. And then all of a sudden it started them doing some things. Now, I've put some of these other people in as well, and you can see nothing's really happening with them, which all that tells me is that they're just not active, and that's fine. But like with Darren here, so let me show you what you want to do. So inside of the contacts, so again, let me actually just show you one more time to make sure you got it. So I go to contacts, it's going to sort them by Zapp score. If I click on their name, is going to bring up their contact info. Okay. Now, contained within the contact info, I can create tags. So you can see I could put in here, and I put down that he was a past client. So these ones that are in gray, you'll notice I can't delete. These ones I could. This one is just system saying it was an agent lead. I put it in. It's part of a bulk email, and I also tagged him as a past client. And I put, he moved from Simi Valley to Utah. So I put in here that he came from Simi Valley. You could create whatever tags and as many tags as you want to in here. You just type in whatever you want and hit add. So I could just put really nice guy and add, and boom, now there's a tag that I've created that's called really nice guy, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to delete that. But from here, I've got his phone number, I've got his email address.
And those tags say, if I knew someone from music, I could go in and search, and all those people come up, right?
Yep. So yeah, what would happen is from my whole list of contacts right here, I can filter them, and I could do it by the custom tags. So you'll notice.
Oh, awesome.
I created the one, I deleted it, so never mind. But that Simi Valley, I could say, okay, I want to see all the contacts that are in my system that came from Simi Valley, and bam, he's the only one. So yep, if you did it for music, it would do the same thing.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that's the tag section. Then the next thing you'll see is you got all their personal information that you can go in and just click on the pencils to add or delete or change or whatever. As I scroll down more, here's just an expanded view of that Zapp score. So you can see that 66, 2/3 of the time he's logging into to the website, and a third of the time he's viewing home detail pages for his activity. But if I hover over it, you can also see in the last 6 days, he hasn't done any, but the week before that, he did it 2 times and then hasn't for weeks before that. Same thing on this, you can see how many home details page they viewed there. So also it will show you if they're doing a ton of searches on properties, it'll also show you what areas they're searching, but this one's not. Okay. So that would be the search insights section, but he hasn't viewed any, so it's nothing there. If I wanted to look at the house that he viewed, I would click on view here, and you can see here's the house that he went and looked at last week on my website. So I can pull it up and see, oh, wow, he's looking at a $1.9 million house that's just down the street from him, probably just kind of trying to figure out if his home values changed is what's going on. But all right, next is the campaigns and follow-ups. So you can add campaigns and things. That's more of an advanced, so I'm not really going to get into that today. And quite honestly, their campaigns aren't that great, so I really don't spend a lot of time on it. But I am going to show you what I think is the best thing. And this is what I did for Darren that is showing me the activity level that he's doing, and with Jay. If you keep scrolling down, and again, or just clicked on this campaign section, it would bring me down to here. It's got home value updates. So what you want to do is go in here and click on add home value updates, and you're going to type in the address of the that they live in, where they live. Okay, so that's what I did for Darren. So here's his home address. Put it in there. It's active. What it's going to do now is the system then will go out and do a search once a week, every Wednesday. It's going to go do a search to find all of the homes. Oh, I just noticed, sorry, Ginger, I'm not sure when you put in this chat, so I'll answer it 1 second here. But it's going to do a search from 2 miles from his house. So every Wednesday it does a 2-mile radius search. It finds the 5 houses that are closest to him that are for sale, and then it's going to send him an email that just says recent activity near, and then it has his address there. And then when he goes and looks at it, it'll show those 5 listings that are closest to his house that are for sale. So that's what happened with this particular house here that I was showing you that he had looked at, is he had clicked on one of those that went to him, brought it up here so that he could go look at the details of that particular property. So now I wish there was a way that you could control the frequency that gets sent out, but unfortunately you don't have control of that. It does it every Wednesday. So every Wednesday it's going to go do a search. It's going to find the 5 closest homes and it's going to send it to them. Now, if for some reason those 5 homes are the same next week as they were the week before, it won't send an email. So it only sends the email if something has changed of those 5 properties. So if a new one's come up that's closer to them, one of those is sold, whatever, but it's going to find those 5. Okay. So, all right, let's see. Ginger asked, when contact searches, are they seeing only C21 list? Oh, great question. Yeah, the whole MLS. We have it tied to an IDX feed. So when they're doing searches on there, it is the whole MLS. In fact, let's look and see on this property. Yeah, see on this one here, this one actually was listed by Summit Sotheby's International Draper. So, yep, you got the whole IDX feed on there. So on the those 5 that are closest to for sale to them, same thing. So, all right, so that's the home value updates. And here's the thing, guys, I will tell you, just that's all I did with Darren. I helped him buy his property a couple of years ago. I have not, and I'm confessing my sins now here, I haven't contacted him since over a year anyway. Hadn't contacted him or that. I just went in and threw this in, set him up on the home value updates. And now you can see that it shows that, hey, he went and looked at a property. Now, does that mean he's wanting to go buy that other house, or does it mean he's just trying to search? Well, here's what I found out since then is he was just clicking on it because it's just not too far away from his house. He paid, I want to say he bought his for $700,000-800,000. So therefore he's just kind of seeing, hey, what's the values done in the area since he bought it a few years ago. So anyway, that's the idea of this. Now, in the event you wanted to have it set up differently, because again, this is doing the search just based upon a 2-mile radius from his house and the closest 5 homes for sale. If you wanted to do something different than that, you can do new listing alerts. Now, the new listing alerts, the way that works is you would click on this set up one now. It's going to log you into your website as if you are that person. So you can see it shows I'm signed in as Darren now. I could go create the search criteria here. There's more filters. I could go through and create the search criteria. And then once I've done that, in fact, let's just do, I don't know what it's going to bring up here. Yeah, that's too many. All right, let's. So if I just wanted to find properties in Springville, I pull those up. If I click recommend search is how I would save that. So once I click recommend search, it would then have saved that for on him here. It would create a new listing alert, would be saved. And then every day, so this one's an every day, this one's every week. So this is weekly going to send them what's gone on in the last week, what's changed out of those 5. This one's going to look for properties every day. So if you had a buyer that you were wanting to see properties that come up new every day, you would set it up here. This is more of just a, hey, I want to stay in touch with my clients. And by the way this works, again, I know I said it, but I'm going to say it again, is it's going to do that 2-mile radius search, bring up the 5 properties. And if they're not new, if they're the same 5 properties, it won't send the email. So what I've found for me, when I've set this up for me, is I tend to get the email every 2 to 3 weeks. I don't get it every week, but every 2 to 3 weeks. So depending on the area that they live in, if there's a lot of turnover and properties are coming on and off the market a lot, then it's going to send them an email every week. If it's a scenario where they don't change over that much within that 2-mile radius, it's not going to send them many emails. So it'll only send it when something changes.
Question?
Yes.
So I was always told that the quickest way to send out a new listing to a client is through the MLS portal, because it's a direct email, and literally as soon as the other agents add listings, my clients get notified. Is there a delay with this because it has to syndicate to this engine? And is there a delay? And if so, what is the delay for new listing to reach a customer on this Zapp?
Yeah, good question. And I don't know the answer specifically, but let me tell you, I have an answer for you, but I don't know how long it takes. So here's what I would recommend. For me, this new listing alert is going to be used more for somebody that is kind of in the early stages. I would set them up on this if it's somebody who's just like, hey, we've thought about maybe moving to, so for you, Liliana, let's say that you had somebody that said, hey, we've thought about moving into Ventura. And you said, okay, perfect. Let me go get you set up and you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And you would then go set up a listing alert on the Zapp site. But if that person now has contacted you and said, hey, Liliana, no, like we really want to go find a property in Fillmore. And so if you come across and then they give you all these specifics of like, we want this many bedrooms, like when it's detailed and they're ready to go, I would use the MLS, not this, for exactly the reason you're saying. So to me, here's how I think of it. I'm using this as more of a marketing piece to draw people in, kind of a thing. Once I've, for lack of a better word, captured them and they're ready to, they're now going to be a client for me, I'm moving them to the MLS to do the searches.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, so that's the new listing alerts there. The rest of the stuff in here, I'm not really going to go through. You can kind of go and take a look at it, but really those are the main things that I wanted to show you guys is really, if you will get your website set up just so that it looks like, you got some good content on it, get your contacts put in there and then set them up again under campaigns, under the home value updates. The system will essentially take care of the marketing side of it. And again, just what I was saying before is I'm looking at this Zapp system as the way to, okay, I'm going to put all my contacts in there, and then Zapp, if I put them on home value updates, is going to tell me, here's your ones that are starting to think about doing something. So like, for example, Darren is one that, it's been a few years since I sold him the home. It's very possible that maybe things have progressed and he would want to be changing and doing stuff. Or let me tell you, on this other one that I had on here of, oops, let me get rid of my filters here. That Jay that I had on here, he just lives up the street from me, and I just threw him in one day as part of a class. Well, as a result of this, it led to a conversation between he and I, him saying, hey, I'm going to be moving in the next couple of years. And so I'm going to just keep an eye out and see what comes up. So let me show you. So here was where I was showing you what they're doing on the website. And then if they are actually searching properties, so you can see he's done some searches in Taylorsville and West Jordan here. But he's one that has told me, hey, I'm about 2 years out. So again, back like to what I was saying before with Liliana on this, like I'm not going to go set him up on a search for a listing alert on the MLS because he's still a couple of years out. But this I'm going to use as a way of just kind of keep trying to draw him to my website, and it shows me how involved in what he's doing. So anyway, all right.
Random question about that.
Yes.
Like I have family that is on my thing but doesn't live in Utah. So
Okay.
I'm obviously not part of like their MLS. So it doesn't do any good to set them up on like putting their address in, because it's not going to send them the 5 closest, right? Or will it send like the 5 closest from our MLS? How does that work?
Yeah, well, so that's great question. So initially, so I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. The first part of it is your website does have IDX to properties the whole country. So somebody going to my website back here, oh, whoops, that's not it. Somebody that's on my website here could do a search. Like, for example, I could put in here Georgia or whatever. I mean, you can see here's Idaho, Colorado, Washington, Wisconsin. Like, so I could go in here and do a search for properties for sale in Wisconsin, in Georgetown, Wisconsin. You can see here's properties. But you will also notice it changed it from Century 21 Everest up here to affiliated. Because you're not an agent there, you can't quote prices, anything that way. And so so they can go do a search of properties and things for the whole country. But back to what you're asking, it will not let you put in under their contact information here on the home value updates. It won't let you put in an address that's outside of our market area. Yeah, it won't find it. So kind of yes, kind of no is the answer.
Thank you.
Yep,
Hey,
you're welcome.
Quick question.
Yes.
I came in late. This might seem silly, but does the website talk to Zapp? So once you put your contacts in your website, Zapp, it's connected. They talk to each other, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, they do.
So I have a question too, Russ.
Sure.
Back to where your website shows your recently sold homes. Remember we were talking about this?
Yep.
So most of the homes that are showing in my website have misspelled addresses and missing pictures, like the one that you have. Sorry, we have no imagery here. Most of mine say, sorry, we have no imagery. And most of the others have misspelled addresses, as though someone actually manually enters them, because I know my listings were not misspelled.
Yeah.
How do these listings get in here, and how do I fix that?
Yeah, good question.
And
so
also,
on
not
that,
all of them show up, by the way. I only have a few that show up. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. How do I fix the most important problem, the misspells?
yeah, the misspelled, I'm not even sure on that. I think probably the best thing's going to be is to call the help desk and ask them, because it's not manually entered by anybody. So it's potentially, and I don't know how this would be, but if whoever's entering it into the system, into Lone Wolf, potentially may have entered it wrong. So it might not be
Yeah,
wrong
I
on
think
the
there was a
MLS, but
human interaction, because I mean, I have
Yeah.
one that says 300,000 Sand Canyon Road. It's actually 30,000. And I have
Mhm.
another one that says 1808 Lindeen Drive, but it should be Linden Drive. So, and I
Yeah.
know I didn't, and another one has the city misspelled. It just says Canyon instead of Canyon Country.
yeah.
So,
Well, if you
So-
yeah,
look at Russ's site, that street address for that Provo, Utah is. not
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, because this one should be, if I remember right, it's like 75 west, 200 south, and it's
yeah,
unit
so it looks like
306.
somebody manually enters them or something gets confused. And what about the lack of a picture?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the picture. That's a good question because I hadn't noticed that till just now. And I know for sure, like you say, this one had photos.
Oh yeah,
there,
I
so,
have photos for all my
yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into that as
I
well.
think
and see
that's
what I
a
can find out.
cross-reference with either Google or something that's definitely computer taking the information, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting though, because this home I actually sold before. Well, it looks like it. Yeah, no, I sold this one. Yeah, you can see here, sold it in December, and this one was January. So I don't know why that photo's. I don't know. I'll have to look into that to see.
well, actually, Google would be very, very correct because it's entered from cities and
I
stuff.
don't think right, but I don't think they're doing it that way.
I think this information is going off Google. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay, yep, I'll check into that. So thank you. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all for being on, and I will get this downloaded and posted to our YouTube channel. It'll probably be later today, maybe even tomorrow, but it'll be up there if you want to go back and review it. So thank you for being on, and
Thank you so
have an
much.
awesome day.
thanks,
Thanks,
Russ.
Russ.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.